Yes, good morning. Sorry for the delay. Very, very sorry. I tell you, I'll be brutally honest. I woke up. Normally, I'm very good. I wake up, shower, do all my stuff. I woke up this morning and I just went straight back to sleep. And next thing you know, I was like, shit, haven't got time to do everything. But I am not one of these people. I have to get up. I have to have my ritual. I have to have my shower, brush teeth, cup of tea, dogs, sorted. And here we are. Let me get myself centrally. Here we are. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. Good morning to everybody in the chat. There's already 110 of you in here, which is big considering we've only been going live for less than a minute. Smash the like button. The poll is simple. What did you think of Thomas Frank's interview? Love him? A PR stunt? Meh. I like the word meh. Somebody told me off the other day. Please stop using the word meh. It's childish. I don't know. I like it. I think meh is a great word. And the last option is he isn't for me. So far, we haven't had any he isn't for me's yet, but I'm sure we will. So good morning to you all. As always, the transfer rumour machine. Let me just, sorry, you can tell I've got ready quickly. I've not done anything that I needed to normally. Look at this. Look at the state of this Barnet. Never mind. The transfer rumour mill is in overdrive. It's in absolute overdrive at the moment. And of course, would we have it any other way? Tottenham linked with everybody and anybody. In the last 24, 48 hours, I'm seeing links to Kudus. Also seeing Chelsea want to bid for Kudus as well. Sorry, I'm not straight. I can always tell. If I can't see Janola's face, then I'm not straight. Kudus is a name that is being thrown around. Xavi Simons of RB Leipzig as well. Richard Rios is a name that is being thrown around from Palmeiras in Brazil, the Colombian central midfielder. We'll have a little look at him. Seen this boy play a few times. We talked about this kid last year. He's got some very good stats. Whenever I've seen him, he looks to be a really good progressive midfielder. But I'll ask you lot, have you seen him? We'll talk about that one. I'm seeing Spurs linked with Eze today. Is the first time this morning. Somebody sent it to me immediately. It's the first time. Let me just see if I can download that so that I can show you all. Bear with me 1 second. No, Stanley, get down. Stanley always wants one more treat than he's already had. You can have one more treat for Stanley. I'll tell you what, this is, oh gosh, ready? This is what you get if you come and live with me. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Who wants a bit of that? This is duck natural goodness fillets. Oh, lovely jubbly. There you go. One for Stewie and one for Stanley. Come on. Good boys. There we go. That keeps them quiet for about 8 seconds. So we'll have a little look at Richard Rios. We're going to have a little look back at the interview that Thomas Frank did yesterday, and we'll be asking some questions about that one as well. But before we start, right, let's have a look. There he is. He's here. He's here, said Tottenham Hotspur. Actually, how rude of me. Before we start, shouldn't I do some hellos? Wouldn't that be nice? Shouldn't we do some hellos? 1 second, Rios. 1 second. Let me, bear with me 1 second. Let me enter the name of the striker. How do I change this from a striker? Let's go to midfielders. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. All of these new sites, it's all very Richard Rios. It doesn't like Richard Rios for some reason. Richard Rios. Okay, I can't find him, but never mind. We'll look at him in another way. Let's say hello, shall we, to a few people. I'll say hello. You lot smash the like button, and we're all good. So, good morning to... I'm going to go through these quickly. Finn, Tony, come on, you pers. Mark, Dean Law, Mark Taylor, Adiz, Bill Sedalis or Sedelis, Adiz, Tottenham Till I Die. We've got William McKenzie, Jason Scopes, Rick Kane, Paul Watkins, Stephen Gage is here. We will talk about the Paratici links in a minute as well. Marios, Good morning to you, sir. Andrew is inside the house. Shem Tan is here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Kip is inside the place. So is Neil Clark. James said, you guys are tuckers for believing every rumour. I don't think we do believe every rumour. You are the sucker for saying such stupid shit every day, James. No one believes it. We're talking about it. People like you are what my mum used to call a mood hoover. You are somebody that takes other people's joy and they want to talk about football and you just suck the life out of it, you miserable, miserable git. There you go. I've called you out. There you go. There you go. Me. Happy morning to me as well. Celery Agent. Celery Agent is here as well. So is Daniel Borden. Tariq. Everyone's putting the weather in for some reason. Hod God 10. Good morning to you. Rob Belcher is here. Neil Clark. Drooler is a franker. Good morning to you. Good morning, Severn Chat. We can't judge a man by his interview. Listen, we can, but we can judge him over the sample size of his career, right? And it is important. I disagree with you. It is important how they come across in interviews because Ange Postecoglou was dreadful in interviews. Ange Postecoglou was terrible with the press. So it is important how somebody comes across. Good morning to Phil Coys. Said another scorcher today. Yes, it is very hot. After this, I will be getting out there and getting some sun on this Greek face. Excited for the new season start and now seeing what Frank can do with this squad and the new additions. We need new additions. Absolutely. Good morning to old Dante. Here's my man, Andy, definitely main. Big up to you. We've got Real Mad Yid. I watched Real Madrid yesterday. They weren't too clever, were they? Bonsai, Baccarobo. Big up to you. MS3, good morning to you as well. Brandon is here. Mike Pepper is here. Paul is here. Marianne is here. Sean is here. Carl is here. Gary is here. I could do this all day. I'm not going to. We'd be here all day. So good morning to every single one of you. And if I haven't got down to your name yet, I'm not ignoring you. It's just we'll be here forever. Stanley is here as well by my side. And so is Stewie. They've both got a fan blowing at them, by the way. So I'm not being cruel. They've got a fan, they've got a cool mat, and they're just doing their thing. Big up to each and every one of you. Yeah, lots of people. Richard Rios is a name being bandied about. I've watched this player. I like Richard Rios. And it is Graham Bailey. Why can't we have Graham Bailey as a reliable source, Ash? Why not? Oh, we can dream. It is funny because he is the name that keeps coming up. And yeah, Ash has ruined all our fun. Another mood hoover there with Ash. So this morning we said Graham Bailey as a Tottenham Hotspur remain firmly in the hunt for Eberichi Eze. TBR Football understands. Now, I think the difficulty with all of these reports is firmly in the hunt, interested, monitoring, scouting, all of these different words that you can put together when talking about Spurs in the transfer market. Wouldn't it be nice to wake up and see that Fabrizio Romano has said Spurs are in negotiations with Crystal Palace? Wouldn't that be great to see? But I can't see that is going to happen. There's lots of transfer news today elsewhere. Apparently Darwin Núñez to Napoli. A new deal is not advancing at the moment between Arsenal and Thomas Partey. Gigio Donnarumma's camp have met with PSG to discuss a new deal at the club. Talks are continuing. Nico Williams and Barca have agreed personal terms on a 6-year deal. Now just Barcelona and Club Bilbao to get a deal over the line. Florian Wirtz, we're hearing that his wages are going to be in the region of £200,000 per week. And that fits in with Liverpool's current structure, according to Fabrizio Romano. They reckon that deal's going to be done in the next 48 hours. Boca Juniors are trying to get Leandro Paredes, good player. Let's see if Paredes, obviously a World Cup winner with Argentina. Let's see if that happens. And Inter Milan are currently taking the key steps to advancing talks for Johan Bonni of Parma. So this one's going to be very, very interesting. Johan Bonni of Parma going to Inter Milan. And Inter Milan look like they're having to go very, very cheap. And what he said about Romano, about Núñez, is Napoli are preparing one more round of talks with Darwin Núñez's camp this week to progress on a deal There are more clubs keen from Saudi Pro League, but Napoli have been trying for weeks and currently still on it. So lots going on in the world of football. Now we just need Spurs to start entering these talks. No more rumours. We need some hard, cold negotiations, don't we, to happen at Tottenham Hotspur. And good morning to each and every one of you. Henry Fong TV, it said Sebastian Aller, Yusuf Makoko and Gio Reyna have no future at Borussia Dortmund. Let me know. Would anyone take any of these? I actually think Sebastian Aller is a good player. I'm not saying I take him. I just think he'll do a good job for a club somewhere. I truly believe he will do a good job for a club somewhere. Let's have a look. And we're hearing here that Tottenham are the latest club to join the race for Mohamed Kudus. Daniel Levy making an inquiry into the valuation of the Ghanaian international. The club are reluctant to sell, and at the moment, the inquiries that Spurs have made, thought to be around £50 million, are not near what West Ham would deem an acceptable amount. The release clause is thought to be around 85 million. These clauses are mad, aren't they? But West Ham may consider slightly less. The hope is that a bidding war erupts between the interesting parties and drives the figures up close to the 85 million mark. And that is from the ex-West Ham United employee who's got a little gold medal. Tier 1 on the sources. I love the sources tiers. I'm tier 1. Oh, I'm tier 2. I love these sources. We'll be talking about Mohamed Kudus in a minute. Big up. Good morning to Emma. She started the sticker train. Good morning to you, Emma. I hope you are well. I really appreciate that. If Emma can stick in 199, you lot can smash a like button. And come on, guys and girls, we are trying to get to that 19K. And we are only 4 subscribers away from 18.6. So we're 404 subscribers away from the target, 404 away from 19,000. By the way, so far, 1% of the 184 votes have said that Thomas Frank isn't for them. Interesting. Thomas Frank isn't for them. I wonder who they wanted, or if they just didn't want to lose Angepostecoglou. And for anyone that would like it, here is the link to subscribe. It is now pinned in the chat. So that would be much appreciated. Let's see who else is in the chat, shall we? Let's see who else is in the chat, and then we'll start talking about Kudus in more detail. We'll talk about Richard Rios, and we'll talk about Xavi Simons as well. Also, what Frank has been talking about in his interview. Here we go from the Athletic article on Justin Cochrane. He would design drills around the tactical setup of their next opponent, as opposed to Ange, whose coaching allowed our opponents to exploit us. Absolutely. Honestly, mood hoovers, man. I'm telling you, mood hoovers. It's like those people that yesterday I just did a harmless video saying, hey, we've been linked to Kudus. We've been linked to Xavi Simons. I always say in my videos, you all know this. I always say in my videos, right, I don't necessarily believe everything, but hey, what do you make of it? Would you sign him? Is he gettable? Do you believe the sources? And I got someone straight away going, oh, not you with a clickbait. It's not clickbait. I said Simons and Kudus to Spurs, question mark. I haven't said Spurs in sensational Kudus signing. Just ask the question. It is funny, though. Mood hoovers. Mood hoovers. I'm telling you. Yeah, listen, as I said, mate, listen, I'm here to give you lot the reports that I see, the conversations that are out there. I collaborate it, put it all into one place and let hundreds of people at one time see it. It is what it is. Let's not shit on parades. Come on, people. Let's have some fun with the transfer window. Where are we? There are loads of you in the chat. Nikos said Arsenal fans in tears that Barcelona took their desired goalkeeper in Garcia and top left winger target. What have you got? What have you got? No, 1 second. No, you are not allowed that. You are not allowed that. You've got your own toys. Stanley, you've got your own toys. Sorry, he's trying to choose shoes and everything. What's that? Look at that. Come on, look at that. Sorry. Oh, the puppy. He's lively, and it's just a little bit too hot at the moment to take him out. Big up. Here you go. You're a mood hoover. You're a mood hoover. We've seen you. We see you. You're the sort of person who thinks I believe every rumor. Do you think I think Spurs are going to sign every player we're linked with? Do you truly believe that? I really, really don't believe that at all. I promise you. I just think it's interesting. And you know what? We always say, oh, it's just rumours. We always say, don't we? Oh, it's just rumours. But yet we're here every transfer window. We're here. We're living for it. We're breathing for it. We're soaking it in. Lucky Singh, but it's going to be a big old transfer fee to get Semenyo. So maybe some of these deals will be a little bit later on in the transfer window. Maybe, just maybe. Has Levy got a cat? God knows, Mark. What are you waffling about? Levy got a cat? What, one of them little, like an inspector? Who was the bad guy in Inspector Gadget? God, now I'm showing my age. Who was the bad guy that had you only ever saw his hand, right? And the cat. Anybody in the chat? Someone at my age or older might remember. 65 million, I think, gets Kudus out of West Ham. Let's talk about Kudus. Guys, girls, I like Kudus. I was very, very jealous when Kudus went to West Ham from Ajax. I was very, very jealous. Let me see what MB Data are putting him in as. They're going to put him in as a forward, maybe. I wish they'd just let me search any player. I have to put in the Kudus. Mohamed Kudus, 25, and Kudus, 24. So let's have a look there. So if I bring this up, so this is Mohamed Kudus. This is from MB Data. Present, share screen. All right, here we go. So this is the percentiles. This is, let me move me. There you go. You can see here. Let me blow that up a little bit. Very small. One second. Let me see if I can get that in. No, I can't get it in if I do that. Let's go one more. There we go. So you can see there that the pink is Kudus in his first season at West Ham, and the blue is his second season. So listen, I think I think most people are saying, and I'm saying this, I was really impressed with Kudus in his first season at West Ham. I really wanted the player. There were lots of people saying, look how good he is. West Ham have found a diamond there, blah, 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 blah. This year, been a bit up and down for West Ham, hasn't it? New managers coming in and he's not got the same number of goals or assists. But we could see there that key passes are exactly the same. His assists are down, though. His non-penalty goals are down. Everything else is the same, apart from his assists and non-penalty goals. But his expected goals and assists. Now, again, I don't know how much people want to read into expected goals. I'm not really an XG guy. But you can see there that it's pretty much the same. Now, if we actually go on to FB Ref and we look at Mohamed Kudus of West Ham, let me see. I'm not the best with this one, by the way. I'm not the best on FB Ref. But what we can see is he's very much a flair player. He's very much a flair player, okay? When you look at all of his stats, like clearances, blocks, interceptions, tackles, they're not good. But everything going forward, shots, pass completion rate, successful take-ons, dribbling, he's very, very good with. So I suppose it depends. What is it that people want from their wide man? What is it that they want from a forward? Is it the hard work in a tracking back? Is it both? Do you want somebody that's going to get you off your seat? Now, I like Kudus. I think under the right manager, the right coaching, he could be a really good asset. But there are lots of people who don't. So I'm asking you guys, what are you guys thinking about Kudus? What are you saying? Would you take him? Would you take him at all? Let's get down to Tottenham talk to Semenyo. Lucky Singh, stop putting things in that aren't true. You do this every day. It drives me mad. If anybody puts in something, I need the source. Can't just say it because I'm literally floating around Plettenberg, Romano, Ornstein. I'm not seeing any of these things where people say, oh, have you heard so-and-so's bid? And I'm like, well, where? I'm not seeing it anywhere. But let me know if you actually see it. Let's have a look, shall we? Neil said Frank is a breath of fresh air compared to Ange. Levy, put your money where your mouth is. We'll talk about that in a minute. Where are we? Oh, I'm quite behind on the chat. Big up to John Sandwich in the chat. Hope you're well, my friend. Fed up. Rachel says, looks like Frank likes his squad as is. Perhaps he will replace Sonny Romero, not much more. I think he's going to replace more than that. I think he's going to replace a lot more than that. I think he said the right things yesterday. I think he came across really well. And do you want to start with him rather than Kudus? Should we start with him? No, we'll stay with Kudus. Dr. Evil, that's it. Dr. Evil. Yeah, McClaw. Yeah. Is he worth 65 million? Is anyone worth 65 million? Is anyone worth 65 million? The problem is, as Spurs fans, we seem to be the only fan base that worry about, is a player worth this or that? Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, City, they just go and buy the players. We've got to, at some point, if you want the better players, you've got to pay more money, right? Mathusa said Kudus is a quality player. I'd definitely take him. He's better than a lot of our players. Let's have a look then. Let's compare. Let's compare Kudus to Semenyo. Let's have a look. Semenyo. Tell you what. I suppose it depends what you want. Let me look at Semenyo for the other year as well. Antoine Semenyo, 23, 24. So there's not really a lot in this. I mean, look, if we have a look at this, let's see. So, Ash, you said compare him to Semenyo. Listen, I like both, by the way. I like both. But if we have a look, I'm going to compare the wingers here. So you can see, so the blue and pink is the last 2 seasons of Kudus, and the yellow and green, the green being the most recent of the last 2 seasons of Semenyo. I mean, from their outside stats in terms of key passes, assists, expected goals, non-penalty goals, dribbles, carries, there's not really a lot of difference between the 2 players. There's not a lot. There's not really a lot of difference between the players. Let's have a look now at their last 2 seasons. Okay, so let's have a look at Semenyo's stats. So if we look at Semenyo in the Premier League, Antoine Semenyo, and then we'll look at Mohamed Kudus. So if we look at Mohamed Kudus and Semenyo, let's look at see what they've both done in the last 2 seasons. So Kudus, since he's been at West Ham, has played 80 games and got 19 goals. So what? He's 1 in 4. So Kudus is a 1 in 4 guy. And Semenyo in the last 2 seasons in the Premier League has got 40, 70, 76, 78, and got 21 goals. So they're both roughly 1 in 4. Semenyo's is slightly better because he's just had a better season than Kudus. But I'll ask you in the chat, guys, is there a huge difference between what you'd get from Kudus and what you'd get from Semenyo? Is there? I'm not really sure there is. I'm looking at all this data. Let's have another look here. Here we go. So if we look at Kudus, let's look at assists as well. Mohamed Kudus. So in the last 2 seasons, 65 Premier League games for Kudus, and he's got 8, 14, 19, 22 goal contributions. So a goal contribution every 4 games for Mohamed Kudus. Semenyo, let's have a look at what he's done the last 2 seasons. There he is, Antoine Semenyo. Over the last 2 seasons for Bournemouth, he's played 60, 67, 70. So a few more games. He's got 19, 21, 26 goal contributions. So you've got a few more assists, a few more goals that have come in, from Semenyo. But I can't really separate the 2 from looking at any of the data. Mohamed Kudus obviously had that really good season with assists in 23-24. But then when you look at the last 3 years between the two, there's not really a lot of difference there, is there, in assists, in key passes? It's pretty much identical. They're pretty much identical, other than Mohamed Kudus' expected goals this season, which last season, which weren't amazing. So let me know in the chat. What are we saying? If you had to pick one, there you go, right now, 10:37 in the morning, right now, who are you picking if you had to pick one? Yeah? Who are you picking? There we go. So Savva was listening to Ashmatic on Spurs Kings TV, and Kudus apparently was still the leading player in the Prem for take-ons completed. I don't doubt it. He's a very skillful player. He goes past his man. He glides past them. But I want to know from you guys, who are you picking? If you could have one, is it Kudus or Semenyo? Now, let's be brutally honest. To get both of them, you're looking at the 65, 70 million mark. Unfortunately, this is what you need to pay. This is what you need to play. Carlson said, I would rather go after a better midfield than Kudus. He isn't much better than what we have. I can't agree with this at all. Kudus is much better than any of the wide players we've got. First and foremost, he can take a man on. None of our wingers can. What would you do, guys? Who are you taking? If you're going to take one, who are you taking? Who are you taking? Let's get down to it. Mate, come on, dude. I think you're going. Yeah, Jacob, and I love you, dude. But I think you're now just going against the grain for the sake of it. I think. Listen, come on. Thomas Frank hasn't done anything wrong. A very good coach, well respected. He comes across brilliantly. I think now we're getting to the stage where it's just hate because he's not Ange. It's just getting a little bit. It's getting a little bit much for me, if I'm honest. Can't we just move on? Let the manager work. Yeah. Well, they're saying that they'll be able to get that down. They're saying we'll be able to get that down. Guys, I just think the whole Thomas Frank hate, he hasn't even started the job yet. He said yesterday, we've not even managed a game. He's not even coached yet. Phil Coys saying Ruben Neves will be brilliant in our midfield. I agree with you. Garcarez, if he's reporting it, then yes. Romano and Plettenberg both follow Josh, so he's direct this to them, both confirm it. Yeah, look. As I said, I like to see hard, solid facts before I claim it's happening. I'll ask the question, but I like to see solid facts before I claim. Spurs are in talks. Spurs to sign Kudus, question mark. Kudus is fundamentally a better footballer than Semenyo Savva. I think he's more skillful. I think he's definitely more skillful. Let's see, Kudus over Semenyo. Kudus is that X factor. Kudus, they are similar. They are very similar. They are very similar in terms of their data is very similar. I think Semenyo is a bit more powerful and direct, whereas I think Kudus is a bit more tricky and skillful when running with a ball. Semenyo more versatile. Semenyo, he can play both sides and doesn't have a poor attitude. I like this. I love the way everyone thinks they know every player's attitude. I do find it funny. Hey, just me. I pick Kudus for my club. Oh, you want him at Liverpool, do you? Kudus, Semenyo, Kudus. It's a toss-up between the two, isn't it? It's very, very close. For me, listen, if I woke up tomorrow, I always do this. If I woke up tomorrow and I saw that we'd signed one of them, I'd take them. Perchie's shuffled into my WhatsApps, dropped into my DMs with his thoughts. He said, Kudus can play in an array of positions over Semenyo. Kudus is technically a better player, but Semenyo, I feel, will offer more goals. Would happy to take either, but if I was to pick one, it would be Kudus. So, let me know. I think this is a good conversation. All I'd say is this. I won't be upset if Spurs sign either of those two. For me, that will be better than any wingers that we've got. Semenyo's much better and Kudus is much better. I just like seeing your comments on this, guys. It's very split. I'll tell you what. Let's get rid of this poll about Frank. Should we start this poll? Let's do this. Start a poll. And I'm not going to give you an option to opt out. If you had to pick one, Kudus or Semenyo. Here we go. Kudus or Semenyo. Let's go Kudus. And then Semenyo. Kudus and Semenyo. There you go. The poll is in the chat. And once we've done that one, we can do some more players. Kudus and Semenyo is the chat. I've got a feeling this is going to be a very, very close poll. Phil Coys said Kudus 100%. Get a fiery streak about him. He has. Very skillful. I think I look at Kudus and Semenyo and I say, could Frank do with them what he's done with Vissutton and Buemo? Could he? Forwards that didn't have loads of goals, but he got them into the right positions, got goals out of them. Could he? Just asking the question. I don't know the answer. Illiman and Dai over Semenyo and Kudus, although he's not so much a winger. Interesting. I'm just going by with players that we were linked with, Bill. I've seen this all before. Haven't we all, Lewis? Come on. Haven't we all? Come on. We need a natural left-footed winger, says Kip. Tony, none of that. Tony, no. No. Tony, no. Listen. As much as I don't agree with Jacob, no, we don't do that here, mate. Come on. We don't do that here. Listen. We want YouTube to be inclusive, right? I know, bro. You know I'm busting your balls. We want YouTube to be inclusive, right? What we can't do is then start slamming everyone. Listen, obviously, I think it's a bit much that ideology on Frank. But come on, we're not gonna call people crybabies and stuff like this. Come on, let's. We're better than that, right? We're adults. Come on, we're all grown men. We're all grown men and women. I hope we're all grown men and women. If any of you are not grown men and women, you shouldn't be watching. It says not for children. Are we in talks with Gokras? I can 100% assure you that Tottenham Hotspur are not in talks with Kudus. I can also 100% confirm that not one subscriber for today's show, which is utterly ridiculous. No. Get him in. I want all opinions. Get him in. Not one subscriber. Utterly terrible from you lot this morning. Big up to those that have smashed the like button. We should be on 250. We're only on 163 at the moment. I'm going to let the votes rumble till they get to about 300. At the moment, we got 120 votes. It's very close. At the moment, let's keep smashing that button. Gary has said on the eye test, Semenyo. Hod God has said Kudus. Marianne, I tell you what, it's all very split, isn't it? It's very, very split. Where are we? Hang on. Sonny's past it. Yeah, listen, I think Son's given us wonderful service. Now, I want to see something different. I want to see, like, what I like about Kudus is I like the way he draws players in and shifts the ball away from them. He's very good with his footwork. Semenyo, for me, powerful, very direct. I want to see more of this. Now, this is an interesting one because João Pedro, apparently Newcastle and Chelsea have both inquired about João Pedro in the last week. This is an interesting player, but we're not in talks with anyone at the moment. So I haven't seen any links with us to them either. Now, Phil, now you're talking my language. Wouldn't that be great? We start the season with Kudus on the left, Semenyo on the right, Madison in the hole, Solanke up front, and then a couple of top midfielders. Wouldn't that be lovely? I'd love that. A sign of intent. Completely agree with you. Savva, but if you had to pick either player, which one will it be? I like both. I find this is a really difficult one. I really like the flair of Kudus, but I quite like the fact that Semenyo can play off both sides. I'm going to flip a coin. I don't have one. Semenyo. There you go. Going to take Semenyo. I'll take either of them. Big up to, thank you, Emma. We did this earlier. Thank you very much for your super sticker. That was very much appreciated. Big up to Henry Fong TV. Really appreciate your super sticker as well. Thank you very, very much, everybody. And by the way, tonight at 5 p.m., we'll have a transfer show. It went down really well the other day. We had a transfer show about all clubs and all of world football, which I did much better than I thought. We'll have another one of those at 5 p.m. today. And then unless there's any Spurs news, I might watch at 7:45. I might watch let's have a look. It's Inter Miami, isn't it, today? Let's have a look. It's Inter Miami. So Messi and co versus Porto. Let me just check and see what channel it's on. I might, if I can get that sorted, I might watch that. Does anyone know? Do you have to pay for the DAZN? Let's have a look. DAZN. There we go. DAZN, FIFA World Club World Cup. Let's see. DAZN. www.dazn.com. Okay. Let me see if I might see if I can get that. Do you have to get an account? I don't know. Sign up for free. Okay, we'll do that a bit later. So at 5 p.m. we'll have the transfer show. Big up Henry Fong TV. We'll have the transfer show at 5 p.m. and then at 7:45. I think that'd be a really good game. You've got Inter Miami versus FC Porto. Both drew their first games 0-0. Obviously, with Inter Miami, you've got Lionel Messi, Busquets, Suarez, and then for Porto, some really good players I like there. Varela, midfielder, I really like. I really, really like this guy. I really like this guy, Alan Varela, whenever I watch him play. They've also just signed Gabby Vega, who I like as well. And I quite like Yao Mario. So that should be a good game. If you want to watch those, feel free to come and join us for those. By the way, we're not ending the show. And Perchy, Savva picks Semenyo, but Perchy and Savva always agree on everything. Perchy. Yeah, me and Perchy don't always agree on everything. And he said, yeah, DAZN is free for the World Club Cup. Wicked. Okay. One and only. I said both attitude problems, I reckon. What, me and Perchy? Or are you talking about Kudus and Semenyo? I've not seen anything that would suggest Semenyo has got an attitude. I haven't seen anything to suggest that. He looks like a real hard-working top pro to me. Marios out there in Cyprus. He's gone with Semenyo. Let's see how the poll is getting on. The poll. We just suddenly stopped getting votes. 155, 158 votes. Come on, people. There's 500 of you in here. Let's get some votes. At the moment, there's 160 votes. 51% Kudus. 49% Semenyo. It is like that. There's no give or take. I should have just done that. It's there, isn't it? It's there. So hopefully, yeah, man, I really like Jacob. I really like his skill. I love a player that gets the ball at their feet, little trick. As I said, if I wake up tomorrow and we've signed one of them, you're not going to see me going, we should have got the other one. I'll be very, very happy. Kudus has experience in Ajax. Does have experience in Europe. Sure. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Can you compare Kudus and Johnson? Can I compare Kudus and Johnson? I can compare Kudus and Johnson. Let me see. Where are we going to find that? Okay, let's go on to Data MB. Let's get rid of Semenyo. Brennan Johnson. Hang on. Are they going to put him as a Brennan Johnson? There we go. Brennan Johnson, Tottenham 23-24. And Johnson, Tottenham 24-25. So Brennan Johnson has got better with key passes, assists, and expected goals. But then as the footballer, so all the other stuff, he's not very good with, as we know. All the other stuff he's not very good with. I'll show you what I mean. And I think this goes to show the output versus the better footballer. Can the better footballers get the output put into them? And can Brennan Johnson get the better football into the output? I don't know. I'm just... let's have a look. Let's show you that, because that's quite an interesting one. Compare the wingers. Okay, so this is Brennan Johnson is purple and yellow. So if you can see there, the purple and yellow. So if you look at this season gone, you look at all of the stats on the left-hand side of the page are to do with impact. All of the stats on the right-hand side to do with technical ability, ball carries, take-ons, actions. And you see that Johnson struggles with those, but gets in the box and score goals. Interesting stats there. So again, there'll be people that say, yeah, but Brendan Johnson scores more goals. For me, I think you could get that out of a Semenyo and out of a Kudus. I do. And I think you get more out of them. Now, for those, it's quite small. That text was quite small, but let me show you. So progressive carries, for example, Kudus, 73.2 and 67.8 compared to Johnson's 49.5 and 29.8. Dribbles, Kudus, 94.8 and 95.0 compared to Brennan Johnson's 58 and 37. Right? Non-penalty goals, Kudus, 43 and 73, Johnson, 53 and 92. So the expected goals, Johnson wins on that as well, massively. But the assists over the 2 years are very similar. Key passes, Brennan Johnson smashed it last year, not this year. Kudus smashed it last year, not this year as well. So some very interesting stats there. Some very, very interesting stats if you like that type of thing. For me, I think that players like Semenyo, players like Kudus, I think they've got something to be unleashed in them. And thank you to the one person that's just subscribed. We've had one subscriber in 41 minutes. Here we go. Who are Man City closing in? Oh, they're closing in on signing someone from the Liverpool Academy, Calum Moss. Apparently, Man City are closing in. And Federico Chiesa plans to leave Liverpool and play more this season. Italy head coach Gattuso says Chiesa must play more. It's important. Our door's always open, but we want Chiesa to be playing on a regular basis. There's James Madison meeting Thomas Frank. Let me turn the volume off. I'll get done for that. So it looks like those two have had a little good conversation. There he is meeting old Radu, if I'm not wrong, who should be there training, working hard to get fit. Oh, and an advert. Oh, you always get a nice advert, don't you, come up? So interesting times. So Kudus versus Semenyo is still locked in at 51% to 49%. So I bet you after this, Spurs won't get either of them. I won't even bid for either of them. Let's see what happens. Let's go to the chat before we move on to our next subject. Semenyo has good stats, but rarely finishes. Well, let's have a look. Let's see if you're correct. Semenyo. Semenyo. I mean, Semenyo. Let's have a look. 11, 13. This year, in 41 games, he's got 13 goals and 7 assists. So in 41 games, he's got 20 goal contributions. So his goals are just over one every 3.5, I think. Just over one every 3.5 games. But again, for me, that's something that Thomas Frank will work on. We saw him do it with Visser. We saw him do it with Mbuemo. So for me, I think that can be worked on. But listen, 11 goals, 13 goals in all competitions. It's not the end of the world. It's free. All right, it's free. Okay, got it. It's free. No, it's free. I got it, everyone. It's free. Big up to Aris. Very generous. Some very generous people in the chat. Even if people aren't subscribing, I really thank you all. I really do. Thank you all for being here with me and helping my channel grow. Thank you very much. Aris, stuck in the super sticker. Always says nothing. Always sticks in a super sticker. Thank you very much, buddy. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you very much, my man. Let me catch up a little bit. If there's the money there, Eze all day. Now, I knew that would come up. It appears, though, that Eze, they want a bigger chunk to be put down. Now, again, I don't know how true this is. But if this is true, that they want a big chunk of money put down, it will put off everybody, because clubs normally work, okay, we want Semenyo for 60 million. We'll give you 15 million up front, 20 million up front, and then we'll pay off the other 40 million over 4 years, 10 million a year. Just something like that, just roughly. If Eze is 35, 40 million to pay up front, clubs are not going to have that money. And I think that's the difficulty. Listen, we talk about this guy every day. Love Eze. Eze for me would be the one. Right? Eze for me would be the one. But are we interested? If we're not, if they're not, sorry, I just got a message on LinkedIn from somebody who watches me on YouTube. Interesting. If they're not, then what do? Phil, not all the games are on Channel 5, mate. The Inter Miami game tonight is not on Channel 5. I think it's the English clubs that are on Channel 5. Guys, if anyone's talking about race, I don't want any of that in my chat. We're talking about footballers here, not talking about skin colour. Couldn't give a shit if they're blue, black, white, purple, grey, orange, maroon. I don't give a shit. Football should not be about colour. So please, colour, creed, religion. I don't do that over here. All right. I really don't do that. So if anyone is doing that, listen, Josh, I will block you, mate. I'll block you. I'm not doing this. This people talking about their attitudes, nothing to do with colour. People in here yesterday talking about Jack Grealish with attitude. I don't believe in all this attitude stuff. We don't know them, but I'm certainly not going to talk about it because of a player's colour or background or religion or I don't know anything. I don't care. I don't care about that. We're not doing that. Yeah, good talent. But again, I think I want a little bit more experience for me than a good talent. I think I want a little bit more experienced. That's only me, but that's what I would like to see. Are these stats just, I don't know, actually. Let me have a look. So it's data MB. I don't know, mate. I don't know. But I mean, it gives you the picture of the player they are, doesn't it? Whether it's all comps or not. The goal stats and the assist stats I gave you were all competitions. Semenyo is the better players. Yeah, who's Thomas Tyres? What's going on there? Here he is. My man, Charlie, the blue brother. If any of you like Chelsea, get over there and subscribe to my man, Charlie. Big up to you. We done some work the other week for the Sun together. I think Charlie beat me, if I remember rightly, on our debate. I think he beat me 3-2 in our debate. Love Charlie to bits. We've worked together now with a Sun and for William Hill. Always enjoy doing content with Charlie. And obviously Chelsea, we're hearing that they're after Kudus as well. So, that bloody fly is back. That one fly. Why is that fly always here? That one fly. Look at it. That one fly. Get away from all my lights. Get away. Big up to you, Charlie. Much love, bro. I'll speak to you later as well about something. I was speaking to Matt. So I'll speak to you later. Goals are precious. But the problem you've got is when you are not scoring goals and offering nothing else and you're playing out wide right, not saying he will, but that's interesting. So hang on. Last one people want me to do is Kudus versus Kulu. Kulu, interesting player for me, Kulusevski. For some reason, it will only give me the 23-24 season. And Kulu kicks his arse on key passes. Let's have a look. Kulu kicks his arse on key passes. Everything else, much of the muchness, dribbles, non-penalty goals, assists is all Kudus. Again, it depends what you want from your player. Kulusevski, for me, he's a good player, Kulu. I do think that he's hyped up a massive amount by our club. But, hey, that's what we do, isn't it? That's what we do. Stack Row has said, I actually think Kudus would be more inclined to join than Semenyo. Also, I think he could be great on the right wing as he's left-footed, but Hammers play him on the left wing. Listen, I mean, as I said, I'll happily take either of them, mate. I'll happily take either. I think both would be able to play off both wings, but we'll see. Big up to Brendan who said, guys, have a great show, mate. I've watched Kudus play, and he can also play on either wing. You can even play him as a 10. I think he's very versatile. Listen, I'm all over it. I'm all over him. I'm all over Semenyo. Get them both in. Agreed, Ash. I don't think we've got the cash flow for Eze, which is where the deals will have to be different. I can't believe that fans are writing off Bentancur for the 6 role. I'm writing him off for the 6 role. He's not a number 6. He's not a number 6. He can play in the double pivot. He is not a number 6. So there's a difference. I think if you play the 2 together, you can see Bentancur. If you play a number 6 on his own, that is not Bentancur for me. Carlson said, maybe we have to buy players outside the Prem. Prem clubs have much better economics than the rest of the top 5 leagues. Yes, but you've then got to also think about the foreign quota. If you go and buy people from outside of the Premier League that are foreign, you've then got to start letting go of your foreign players that you've got. So you've always got to be thinking about this. Sure, but you've got to have the cash flow to do it. To pay that chunk up front, you've got to have the cash flow to do it. And not a lot of clubs do. So we've got to take that into account. Block you for what? I don't want any talking here about you calling people racist because we're talking about 2 black footballers, right? If someone talks about their attitude, why does that make it racist? So again, you don't see you saying anything wrong. You are inciting hate talk. I don't like it. Get it out of my chat, Josh. Yeah? No one mentioned anything to do with them being black apart from you, right? So don't go down this route. I'm not going down it. I'm too old and ugly. I'm too wise in the world to let trolls like you make shit up and get other people in trouble. If he had said, oh, black players have attitude, I'm blocking him. But he didn't. You have put the 2 and 2 together. Oh, they're black. They must have bad attitudes according to the other person. Not having it. Not having it, Josh. All right? That's your last warning. Not having it. Sorry, I'm not having it. Not having it at all. No. No. That's not what we do at this channel. I want to make this a grown-up channel. I really, really do. I really want to make this a grown-up channel. Where are we? Let's get down. Where are we? Oh, Kudus, shut up, mate. Go away. Yes, he did. Sorry, we're not doing this. Yes, he did. He truly inferred that the other person's, because he talked about apparently Gordon and Grealish and didn't say they had an attitude. No, sorry, Kudus. No, don't do this, mate. Stop trying to be a hero. Stop trying to be a hero. You always do this in the chat. Grow the fuck up, mate. I'm not doing this with you today. Another winger for Chelsea. Will be some very unhappy players soon. Well, who have they got? Who have they got on the wing? Madueke, Neto, who they got? Who they got on the wings? Madueke, Neto. They're trying to buy Bono Gittins. I'm guessing it will be someone like Bono Gittins or Kudus. Just saying. Depends which Kulu shows up. Agreed. Agreed. Kulusevski's one of those very frustrating players. Yeah, I agree. And Chelsea will pay the money more than we will. I completely agree with that. He didn't mention Son in the interview, did he? He didn't. We'll talk about the interview in a minute. Josh, give it a rest, mate. Give it a rest. Give it a rest. I see what you're doing. You're very clever. I see what you've done. Right? Please give it a rest. I don't want any insinuations like that over here. Leave it out. Right? Leave it out. If you didn't call him racist, then what was your comment about? You didn't need to make that comment, Josh. You didn't need to make the comment. Exactly. Like it's madness, man. I'm so bored of it. So bored of it. Listen, we'll leave it there, Josh. Let's move on. I just don't want any talk of race. Like when people bring up religion. Nah, No interest in religion, no interest in race talk. That is not what we're here for. We're here to talk football. Right. Let's look at Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank. Should we see? So Thomas turned up yesterday. There he is. This one's for Jacob. Where are you, Jacob? Where are you, Jacob? Hello. Thomas Frank in the chat. Thomas Frank, here he is. And there we go. Thomas Frank with his Spurs shirt. We always like them to be in their Spurs shirt, don't we? So, Thomas Frank, he's joined Tottenham. He has had, hang on. He's had time now at the training ground. He's met people. He's given his interview. And I thought he came across really well. He said some very key things, didn't he? He mentioned certain players, didn't mention others. Now, we can read whatever we want into that, or we could read nothing into that. But he did mention Solanke specifically, didn't he? Maddison, Bentancur. He mentioned the younger players, the Adogis, the Greys, the Bergvals. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what he does. But this is what he mentioned as well. He said, a very important thing is to make our home like a fortress. That can only be if the fans and us, the team, do it together. I want our home to be very difficult to come to, and that we can only do together. Now, I'll be honest, that to me is music to my ears. Right? That to me is music to my ears. We've just had an embarrassing season at home. A truly embarrassing season at home where we've won 6 out of 19. It's truly atrocious. I've never been more embarrassed to be a Spurs fan. 6 home wins. Was it 10 home defeats, I think, and 3 draws? We've got to change that. Right? Now, making it a fortress doesn't mean we're going to necessarily do what Poch did in that final year where we went unbeaten at home, or that year, the final year at White Hart Lane when we went unbeaten. I don't know. Has he? Sorry, just completely threw me there. Sorry, I just saw a WhatsApp, just completely threw me. Can't believe we've not had 1 subscriber all night. 500, by the way, all day, not 1 subscriber. And please keep smashing that like button. We should be at 300. And on the votes, 283 votes. It is 50-50 exactly on Kudus and Semenyo. Yeah. Home form. 6 wins at home is not acceptable. Now, I don't think we're going to go unbeaten. I don't sit there and go, right, no one's going to come to White Hart Lane and beat us. But we do have to make it difficult. As Frank said, we need to make it a very different Spurs stadium to last season. We can't be having teams rocking up and beating us. Can't be having that. I can't be having Leicester City's rocking up and beating Spurs. Ipswich rocking up and beating Spurs. I can't be having that. Our last win at home in 7 games was Southampton. We've got to make that tighter. You make your home ground a bit tighter, you naturally go up the league table. Naturally. Big up, bro. Big up. Thank you. Naturally. So what are you guys expecting? What's an acceptable home record for you guys next season? Now, just to let you know what our home record was last season, right? Leagues, Premier League. Oh, let's go to last season. Our home form. I kid you not. Can you see? 15th. 19 games, 21 points. That is utterly disgusting. That's 6 wins and 3 draws. That is embarrassing. Everton, 24 at home. Palace, 25 at home. Brentford, 31 at home. Right, the top teams in the 40s at home. we can't be doing that again next season. So for me, we've got to be getting a better home. We've got to be getting a better home record. And for me, that I'm really, really glad. I'm really, really glad that Thomas Frank mentioned that, because for me, that's a massive, massive downfall at Tottenham Hotspur. It's a massive downfall. Where are we? Add 1 second. Where are we? Two red diaries. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. Sorry, just had to get that sorted. Yes. So for me, what do you make of it? What did you make of Frank specifically mentioning the home form? For me, I want to see no more than 4 home defeats in 19 games. Not 10. 3, 4 home defeats. I want to be realistic. I'd love to sit here and say we're not going to lose any of the 19. But for me, 3 or 4, I think would be acceptable. 5 at a push. But for me, I just can't be entertaining 10 defeats at White Hart Lane. I just can't be doing it. So I'm really glad that he mentioned that. And then also, he mentioned this, didn't he? He said, the intention is to play aggressive, front-footed football. I know the ethos and history of the club is massive on attacking football, and there's so much attacking talent in the squad. I'm very excited about that. Now, this sent a few people into meltdown, going, oh, that's what we've been doing. It didn't work. But what this man will do is he will make sure that while attacking, he's got that balance of the transition between midfield and defence. That's the difference. So if we bring up Brentford, hang on. If we bring up Brentford's sofa score, we'll see how they played more often than not. Brentford's sofa score. So this is Brentford on their sofa score. Bear with me 1 second. Let's just try and bring that up. There you go. Nottingham Forest defender Willy Bolly has signed a 1-year contract extension with Nottingham Forest till next season. So if we have a look, so like this was their last game. This was their last game of the season against Wolves. And if we have a look at their lineup, you'll see very much how they played. Oh, there's nothing groundbreaking. Let's have a look. So if you see here, present, share screen. So you'll see there that they played a 4-2-3-1. Now, I like a 4-2-3-1. There's other formations I like, but I like the 4-2-3-1 because what it allows you to do is it allows you to have your fullbacks pushing forward and then the 2 in the pivot. One of them at least can sit in and make it a 3 at the back, or the 2 can sit there and conduct. And it allows you 4 players when going forward plus your fullbacks. And if any of you have watched the coaching videos, right? If any of you have watched the coaching videos, Frank talks about, doesn't he, how many he wants back when the other team are attacking and how many he wants forward when his team are attacking. And I think that's really, really good to watch. Right? I think that's a really, really good, I think it's a really, really good tactical segment to get your head around. He talks about, okay, if the other team are going to attack us 5-on-4, that's fine. But when we're attacking, it means we're going the other way, 6 versus 5, right? Like he's that sort of guy. And I like that. This is probably, I mean, listen, I might be completely wrong here, but this was his favoured formation last year. Now, he can float to a back 3, and he did on multiple occasions last year. But this was when I looked at the back end of the season, this is more often not than what they played. Okay, so you see that you've got the Damsgaard. If you look here, so we can see that you've got Damsgaard here. Oh, don't need to bring that up. You've got Damsgaard there. And you can see that the majority, if you look on the right-hand side, let me remove those comments. If you look on the right-hand side, the majority of what Damsgaard's got, look where the biggest bit of his heat map is in the number 10 position. It is in the positions where he can pick up the ball and drive at people and set up play. And that, for me, is really important. Now, let's have a look at the heat map of his wingers, his wide forwards. So you can see the heat map of an Mbuemo. Yeah, look at the touchline. Look at the touchline. The heat map. Getting back and getting forward. Look at that. And that is why Mbeumo last season got the most crosses into the box in the Premier League. So again, I think that's a really important point to look at of how he plays. So we can see here already, he's got the number 10 in the number 10, Damsgaard. He's got the numbers, the right winger doing the things on the right wing. And let's see if my theory is correct. And Kevin Schade. And Kevin Schade not hugging the touchline as much as Mbeumo. But you can see here, Kevin Schade gets into those dangerous areas. So he's more of the one. And Mbeumo goes on the outside. Schade's a bit more cutting into that area. If you look here, where this heat map is here, where you can see the arrow, hopefully you can see that. That heat map there is where Schade will get himself into. But now the interesting one is, where does Visser get himself into? Right? So Visser, you can see, when attacking, Visser is centrally. If you look here, hopefully you can see this. You see here, around here, these are the areas where Visser's getting himself into, right? Now, I'll be interested to see. I might be wrong here, but let's now go to Spurs. Let's go to Tottenham Hotspur. Now, I might be wrong. I'm going to go to Tottenham Hotspur. Let's go to the games. I might be wrong. Let's see a game that Solanke played. I don't know if, because he messed it about at the end so much, didn't he? Did Solanke play against Fulham? Here we go. I'm just going to try and plug a few games. I don't know why that's not coming up. Let's look at Frankfurt, see if that game comes up. Details, full page review. Sorry, I don't know why that's not coming up. Isn't it funny? It worked for Brentford and won't work for Spurs. Sorry, guys. I really wanted to show that, but for some reason that won't come up. Let me look at Dominic Solanke. I don't know what's going on here. Everything else is working. My internet's working. I'll come back to this in a second. I don't know why that's not working, guys. I'm so sorry. Oh, there it is. I knew as soon as I came off that. Dominic Solanke. How can I get his heat map? If you look at Dominic Solanke here for his heat map. Again, he is everywhere, isn't he? He's everywhere. I just want him a bit more up front. He seems to look at it. He's everywhere. That is something that Frank is going to have to sort out, isn't he? That is something that Frank is going to really have to sort out. Getting him into that box and allowing the other players to do the other things. I'll tell you an interesting one will be James Maddison's. Visser is much better than Solanke. Visser is much better than Solanke. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at, I'll tell you what will be a good one to look at. James Maddison. Again, so if we look at the difference in the heat map here between a Damsgaard and a Maddison, look how much time we had him on the left wing and picking up the ball in his own half in the left wing area. Look at that. That's mad. That's absolutely mad. We want James Maddison in the number 10 role. Now, let me do the actual heat map for Damsgaard. I might be wrong here. Could be wrong. But look how much more time Damsgaard spends in the opposition half, floating everywhere, as opposed to James Maddison, who just spent all his time on the left-hand side. That's what you want from your playmaker. So this will be very, very interesting to see what Thomas Frank does with Solanke, what he does with a Damsgaard. Let's have a look at, I'll tell you what, let's have a look at the Brentford fullbacks. So let's have a look at, what's his name? Keane Lewis Potter, for example. There you go. Look at that as a heat map. That's what I want from my fullback. I don't know about you lot. That's what I want, whether he's a wing back or a fullback. That is exactly what I want from my fullback and wing back. That's exactly what I want. Exactly what I want. Let's have a look at their centre halves. Let's have a look at Collins comparing to our centre halves. So I just think this is interesting. Gives you an insight as to how. So we know Nathan Collins played every game, so we know that that's so Nathan Collins on the right hand side of the. Look at that. Oof, Jesus. Let's have a look at ours. It might be the same. Nathan Collins. And then let's look at Christian Romero, who would be the right-sided centre half Spurs. Less time in our own penalty box, that's for sure. But also in the same areas as Collins. But look at that. Look at that outside the penalty box compared to Collins inside the penalty box for a centre half. Look at the red inside the penalty box for Collins. Destiny Adogi. Can have a look at Destiny Adogi. I like this tool. So Destiny Adogi there. Like, I don't get this. We saw King Lewis Potter was red, completely red, all down the left-hand side. When you look at this, it's almost like Adogi's everywhere but nowhere. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean? Let's have a look at Porro. I like this. This is interesting. Let's have a look at Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro actually spends a lot of time on the right-hand side. A lot more than Adogi. Look at that compared to Adogi. Look at that. Which is interesting because most of the goals come from our left-hand side and Brennan Johnson getting in on the right-hand side, right? Whereas, you know, look at that. Interesting. 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 Really, really interesting. I just find it, listen, can we read too much into it? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see when Frank gets here. It's just interesting to see the difference from where Damsgaard plays compared to where Ange had Madison, to where Visser played, to where Ange had Solanke. So it can give you a bit of an insight as to let me get rid of that, sorry. Is Thomas Frank going to come in and say, hang on, listen, Visser got all these goals last year playing for me. This is how I did it. Look where he was. He wasn't on the halfway line like you, Dominic. He was getting in the box. Is he going to say to Adogi, look, here's what Keane Lewis Potter did for me. Get out there all the time. I think what you're probably going to see is fullbacks getting a bit more down the line rather than in the Ange system where they were coming in all the time. I think you're probably going to see the centre mids a bit more compact in those areas. I'll tell you what, that could be an interesting one, couldn't it? Let's have a look. So let's have a look at a Rodrigo Benton. Cool. Interesting. Yeah, it's quite difficult with the. I mean, he's absolutely everywhere. But Rodrigo Bentancur. I just want to compare that to Norgard. Oh, I haven't got the screen on. Sorry. 1 second. So, yeah, when I've just compared Norgard and Bentancur's just a bit everywhere. Like, he got an engine just everywhere. Norgard's a little bit more in his own half. Right? Norgard's a little bit more, which tells you that we're probably going to protect our back four a lot more under Thomas Frank, which you would expect, right? Which was the biggest criticism of Angepostecoglou, that he didn't protect the back four. So this is all going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. I could be waffling. I could be talking absolute nonsense. But I do think you're going to see a lot more compact. I think you're going to see players playing in their actual positions. And I'll tell you what, let me just do one more. I want to check Son. I want to check Son. See, Son, his heat map is very much on the left-hand side, high up the pitch. Very much on the red on the high side of the pitch. Which I'll be honest, that staggered me a little bit. I wouldn't have thought that it would have been that good. That for his lack of output, to be honest. Hey, interesting. I'm just comparing his seasons. Interesting. Maybe he stays. Maybe Frank gets the best out of him. I just think these things. No, I know you can't see it. I know. I took my screen off. I know these things are all very subjective, and it depends on how you want to view football. But I do think they're interesting to have a look at. For me, I think the key thing is you've got to get your centre forward in the centre forward areas. You've got to. I don't want Dominic Solanke on a halfway line. I don't want him dropping into there. I don't need Dominic Solanke dropping into the number 10. Right? Maddison needs to be pushing into the number 10 more and Solanke into the number 9 more. That's what I think anyway. Hey, I could be waffling. I could be chatting absolute nonsense. By the way, on our poll, 354 votes. Kudus, 47%. And Semenyo's gone to 53%. So very interesting. Looks like I'll tell you what it does tell you from this small sample size of people is that we don't mind who plays. Yes. I'll tell you what, yeah. Savva's son always plays high up. But when I had that area, he had no one to help him, no runners, and we played a lot of horseshoe football. See, what I want to see is when Semenyo, when they've got the ball out wide in these areas, I want these two here, Porro and Adogi, if it's going to be them two, going on the outside, overlapping. And I thought we had a bit of joy from that last year. When Spence was doing it especially, Spence would overlap and drag the ball back. That's what I want to see. And I don't think football's difficult. I think, unfortunately for me, I think Ange made it look difficult. I think he made it look convoluted. I think we just need to go back to a little bit more of the basics, in my opinion. Dope Boy Jr. has said Son is better inside. Quite possibly. Son is better inside. Quite possibly. For me, I'd say quite possibly. Yeah, he absolutely is. For me, I was just checking where Stanley was. He's massive now, so I have to make sure that I don't kick him at all times. For me, I want Son driving through the middle. Let's give you an example of a team. Let's see. What would you say to this team? Let's go with a 4-2-3-1. What would you say to this team? Bear with me. I'll tell you what. I'll show you while I'm doing it. Let's play Football Manager. Boom. I know that's not the Football Manager theme tune, but let's play Football Manager. Present, share screen. Right, let's go through this, guys. As it stands, right, we're going to play a 4-2-3-1 under Thomas Frank. And I'm going to allow us, how many new signings am I going to allow into this first 11? 3 new first team players. Okay. I'm going to go with a new winger, 2 new wingers, and a centre mid. I'm going to go with 2 new wingers and a centre mid, right? 3 new players, right? I know, Mix Mitchell. I'm just saying, right? All right, let's go with 4. We'll go with 4. Right. So if we were going to go with this 4, I would say that we need a new centre mid, 2 new wingers, and for me, I think it depends if Romero stays or goes, it will be a centre half. If not, maybe a centre forward. Let's go with this, shall we? I'll put it in and then we'll play about with it, all right? I'll put this in and then we'll play about with it. So let's go with Vicario in goal. That's an easy one. We'll go with Porro at right back. By the way, we'll change these in a minute. We'll go with Adogi at left back. We'll go with Mickey. We'll go with Romero. All right, I'm going to put in Maddison there. And I'll tell you, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Right. Just by way of example, if I said to you, that's your starting 11 next season in a 4-2-3-1, that's your starting 11. How happy are you out of 10 in the chat? Let me know. How happy are you? Now, we can move some of these in a minute. I'm just putting a few in. We can change them. So Bergvall and Norgard as a 2. Semenyo on the right. Kudus on the left. Madison in the hole with Solanke up front. Season of all. Listen, we're just having a little bit of fun, right? How happy would people be? 6 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 7, 8. Let's see. Do you all agree with me that that back five, we'll leave that as it is unless Romero goes? Are we all happy with that? You're saying that midfield looks weak. I don't think it does. I think Norgard's an excellent player and Bergvall will learn and develop alongside him. But hey, each to their own. Now, what about if I was to do this? What about a Douglas Luiz there? What about Douglas Luiz and a Calamawundo up front? How does that look? Douglas Luiz, bit of power, bit of strength. Calamundo, goal scorer, gets in behind, a more direct striker than Solanke. How excited would you be? Kudus, Semenyo, and Calamundo. Stronger? Do you all agree that Bergvall will be the one of the two? Or do we think it will be Bentancur and Bergvall? Maybe people don't like Douglas Luiz. Now, what we've got to do with this team, what you've got to make sure is this, that this goes down here. This goes down here. And that they don't go in here. I don't want them in here. I want these two in here. I want these two in here. And this, I don't want there. I want him here. I want him there, where he is. I don't want him there. I want him in here. Mapping. You say you can't build a team around Romero because he's always injured. Oh, and available injured. What about Madison, who you want to build around that couldn't even make it into the finals? See, Mapping's another one who didn't listen last night. In the last 2 seasons, James Madison has played 40 games of football more than Romero. Last season, he played 20 games of football more than Romero. Got to do your research, Mapping. Got to do your research. We know you like to troll. We all know who you are, but you've got to do your research. James Madison couldn't make it into the finals. I hate to break it to you. Without James Madison, we wouldn't have got to the finals. Romero's the one who missed about 25 games. Mate, I don't know what you're doing. Romero missed 34 games of football last season. He always disappoints me. He's a troll. He knows why he was blocked before because he's an arse. He never comes in and just joins in. He always has to try and have a dig. I know these people. What would you think of that team? What would you think of that team? Maybe you want to see this. I can never get this guy's name right. Paulania. There you go. That one. Maybe you want to see that. Maybe you want to see a Bergvall and Paulania double. But again, the reason I put this up is it shows that it doesn't need to be groundbreaking, massive signings to make this happen. Does it? It doesn't have to be to get this team that I think would challenge for the top 5 and Champions League football. I don't think it needs to be groundbreaking. Why can't we make things like this happen? And we might. I'm just saying. You see, for me, Flynn, I don't see why that shouldn't be realistic. Now, we might not get Kudus and Semenyo. Sure, you might get one of them. But wouldn't it be nice to see something like that? Two proper wingers. Paulinho on loan and Calamundo's, what, 30 million euros. So what we're looking there, 130 million, 140 million. What this also allows us to do is this. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. Where is it? 4, 1. Something like that. Also allows Paulinho more of a call. He can sit in the number 6. He can sit in the number 6 and allow Bergvall and Maddison, one as the playmaker, one as the box-to-box driving with the ball. It allows that. It allows Kudus and Semenyo to go and join in because Paulinho can sit in and allow Porro and Udogie to go. In this formation, Porro can get up here more. Udogie can get up there because Paulinho jumps into here, doesn't he? So it allows so much more bringing in these types of players. And I don't think I've done anything groundbreaking there. I don't think I've done anything where I've said, oh my God, what you think Spurs can attract? Yes. Why couldn't Spurs attract all of those players I'm saying? Kudus from West Ham, Calamundo from Rennes, Semenyo from Bournemouth, Paulinho not getting games at Bayern. Why couldn't we attract that? Why? I'm not talking about Gyökeres. I'm not talking about people like Josh Kimmich. Why couldn't we attract that? I don't know why. Yes, Football Manager, pie in the sky, Savva chatting shit, blah, 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 blah. I just don't think it should be that difficult to do. Then, in and around that squad, you've got Brennan Johnson to come on for goals. You've got Solanke to come on for goals. You've got Kulusevski, who can rotate with Semenyo on the right and Maddison in the middle. You've got Bentancur. You've got Sarr. Do you know what I mean? You've then got the backup centre halves. I just try a 3-5-2. I can try a 3-5-2. Do you want more of that? Do you want more of this? Or do you want more of that? Okay, let's go with that. See, I don't like that. 3-1. Can we get a 3-1? I want a 3-1-4-2. I want that. Right. I want that. Okay. So now I could go Porro there, Paulinho there, Udogie there. And then that would be I think it would be more like that. Romero, Danso, Van der Ven, Paulinho, Maddison, Bergvall, Porro and Udogie. And then this would be Solanke. If I put that into a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3 so you can see what it looks like. Sorry, 3-5-2. Sorry, that. So again, all these different options. We're not a million miles away from making any of this happen. Are we? Sorry. So 3-5-2. Van der Ven, Danso, Romero, Porro and Udogie is the width. Paulinho drops into that hole to protect the back three. Solanke is the hard-working runner. Is the hard-working presser. Calamundo scores the goals. You know, it's like this is what I was doing, by the way. When that was the 3-5-2, you could mix it up and go 3-4-3. So we go there. You could have Maddison there, couldn't you? You could have something like that. You could have You could have a 3-4-1-2 with a James Maddison. Look at that. Again, what's wrong with that? I love the look of that. Look at that. I love the look of something like that. You've got the three at the back, the two that sit in front, and then you've got Adogi, Porro, Maddison, Solanke, and Colamundo all going forward. Of course it doesn't. When you're saying why map it, he's saying it doesn't look good because I've said it. The bloke's a dick. He's always done this. He wonders why he was blocked before. I could say it's Thursday. He'll find a way to disagree with me. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you. I really enjoyed that. We'll be back tomorrow as always. But join me tonight, 5 o'clock for the transfer show, 7:45 for Inter Miami versus Porto. That should be a really good game. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to transfer you all over right now to, let me just double check. I've got this right. I'm going to transfer you all over to Never a Foul where I'm joining. Please, please, please. When you get there, type in Savva Raid. It really does help. Please type in Savva Raid. Much love. I appreciate you all. Smash the like button on your way out. We should be at 300. We're only on 272. Smash that button. Thank you for the one subscriber we've had today. Please get over. Say Savva Raid. Thank you very much. And take care.